The world's a dangerous place. Get the industry's original and most trusted laser sighting system from Crimson Trace. A laser and light systems will enhance your effectiveness and help keep you and your family out of harm's way.
Broadcasting nationwide, this is Tom Gresham's Gun Talk. Your views, advice, and questions are the driving force of Gun Talk. Call Tom now at 866-TALK-GUN. That's 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Or reach out to us via email at tom@guntalk.com. Let us know what you think about the gun-related issues of the day. Now, here's Tom Gresham.
Are we having fun or what? We get to talk about guns and scopes and ammo and all sorts of stuff. Have had a ball this past week, doing a little shooting. I shot video cameras some, shot guns a little bit. Got to talk about 375 Ruger. Cool caliber, by the way. Essentially, the ballistics of the 375 H&H, which was introduced in 1912. But now it's in a shorter case, 30-06 length action. You're taking advantage of the new powders, the modern powders we have. Very cool. Shoots flat, 2,800 feet per second with a 260 grain bullet. Yeah, buddy. that'll whack them. That does something out there. Anyway, have a lot of fun. Yeah, it's when you shoot it, you pull the trigger, but it's not bad. In fact, we did a little shooting, shot it at a row of water jugs. And did not get like real deep penetration because we shot it close, but we used a controlled expansion bullet. It expanded well. If you wanted more penetration, you would go to something like a Nosler Petition. It's going to typically penetrate deeper. What else penetrates deep? Barnes triple shock bullets. Those penetrate pretty deeply. Obviously, full metal jacket or solids do. But even with expanding ones, you have different bullet configurations that will penetrate more deeply or less deeply. And you just choose based on what it is you're hunting. If you want deep penetration on bears, you would use a deep penetration bullet. If you're shooting an elk and you don't want that, you would use something that opens up more quickly. That's the beauty of it. We get to choose. Great products out there. By the way, our number here is 866-TALK-GUN, 866-825-5486, or just one Tom Talk Gun. Shoot me an email, tom@guntalk.com. Over on Twitter, I'm at Gun Talk, where we are twittering away. We have a conversation going on over there. A lot of ways to catch up. By the way, and if you miss a show, if you listen on the radio station, and by the way, please do me a favor. If you listen to Gun Talk on your local radio station, would you give them a call and just say thanks? Say, hey, appreciate you running Gun Talk. That's it. That's all you got to say. Pass it along. And I would certainly appreciate that. If you happen to miss a show, you can pick it up. We archive it off of iTunes or a lot of different ways. You can actually start at our website, guntalk.com, and that'll take care of it. By the way, speaking of websites, we have new stuff. If you're looking for, if you're like me, if you want to make sure that you get what you want for Christmas, buy it, wrap it, put your name on it, stick it under the tree. Yeah, we do that these days. It works out pretty well, actually. We have new DVDs. The first season of our First Person Defender series is available, and it is, if I do say so myself, it's very good. I don't think you'll like it. I know you will like it. Also, Concealed Carry 2, brand new. It's the follow-up to our Concealed Carry 1, clearly, obviously. More advanced stuff for people who carry guns for their personal protection. Shooting awareness, shooting in buildings, shooting in vehicles, around vehicles, using vehicles for cover, shooting from weird positions, the kind of positions that you get knocked down in a fight, shooting from your back, shooting from your stomach, shooting in a sitting position, just lots and lots of stuff. Anyway, you can go to shopguntalk.com, shopguntalk.com, and we have some package deals going on right now. Take a look at that. 866-TALK Gun. Get you in here. Ed has called us from Wasilla, Alaska. He's on line too. Hey, Ed, thanks for your patience.
Okay, we'll run 2 squads.
Oh, Ed's at the range. Listen to this. We're getting some gunfire.
Squad over here is going to shoot, and then the squad over here is going to shoot.
Ed put his gun down, or his phone down. I'll tell you what. Put him back on hold and see if we can get Ed back. That's funny. We'll go down to Bob on line 1 while we try to get Ed back. Hey, Bob, how you doing, man?
Oh, just fine. I got a question for you.
Okay, go for it.
What is bore sighting? Can I do that myself, and what tools do I need?
Yes, you most certainly can. First of all, let me back up. What kind of rifle are we talking about?
We're talking about handgun, 22, 32, 38, and 9 millimeter.
Well, bore sighting is what you do when you mount a scope on a firearm. Are you putting a scope on these guns?
I'm mounting a laser.
Okay. There's no need to bore sight a laser. Let me describe bore sighting first. I'll do that quickly because we can leave it alone because that's not what you're doing here. Bore sighting is looking down the barrel of a gun, and generally a bolt-action rifle that you can take the bolt out of, and putting it on sandbags and lining it up so you can look through the barrel at a target and then adjusting the crosshairs on the scope until they're looking at the target, the center of the target, and both of them are at the same place. And that gets you close. It doesn't sight in the gun, but it gets you close. In your case, you're putting a laser on handguns, correct?
Right.
Okay. This is easy. I love this. What you're going to be doing is aim the unloaded gun at a target of some sort, be it a real target or a doorknob or something that's a safe target to point a gun at. You just line up the iron sights, and then you just use the adjustments on the laser until the dot is also on the same target that the iron sights are on. Done. That's it. The laser will come with, depending on which brand laser you got, it'll come with the tools, whether it's an Allen wrench or whatever you need to adjust the laser. And you have elevation and windage. You dial it in, and then when the laser dot is pointing at the same place that the iron sights are pointing, you are ready to go. Now, here's one thing to understand. Which brand laser, how does it mount on the gun?
Grip.
Okay, so you got the Crimson Trace laser grip. Because there is a little bit of difference, by the way, and those are real easy to sight in. They come with a little bitty Allen wrench, piece of cake. You can either hold the gun up, or you can rest it on something and just look over the iron sights and adjust these adjustments so the red dot or the green dot, whichever it is lined up exactly where the iron sights are. But understand this. Because the laser does not come out of the barrel, it's actually starting at a different place. The bullet flight path and the laser's path start at different places. They must converge. So you're sighting in at a specific distance. So if you sight in at 7 yards, that's great. But if you get out to 25 or 30 yards, they may be an inch or two apart because they have basically the flight path of the bullet and the laser path has converged and then diverged as they got further away. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Not a big deal. Just, for self-defense use, I would probably sight in the 7 to 10 yard range. And, if you're off a quarter of an inch when you are saving your life, I wouldn't sweat it.
What if you just pointed at a mirror and then the spot comes back to you and then you fiddle around with it?
Well, first of all, it'll blind you because you won't be able to, not literally blind you, but you won't be able to see because the laser will be pointing in your eyeball. Not good. No, don't be pointing at a mirror. You just want to point it at a wall. I just put a sticky thing or something, a piece of paper on the wall, and point the pistol there, line up the iron sights, and then adjust the laser so that when you put the iron sights on the target, the red or green dot is also on the target. That literally is all you need to do.
Okay, thanks very much.
All right, there's nothing to it. And good, by the way, good selection. I like the Crimson Trace laser grips. All right, let's see if Ed has picked up his phone on line 2 yet, because he was at the shooting range. Ed, are you there? Evidently, Ed is too busy shooting, and so I tell you, just keep him on because eventually Ed's going to come back. Because we want to find out what's going on at the shooting range. He's calling us there. So if anybody is listening at the shooting range in Wasilla, Alaska, find Ed. He's the guy who's shooting, has got his phone laid down on the shooting bench somewhere. Yeah, we'll also get Mike in Salina, Kansas. We got Ray coming up, and we can get you in. Call us 866-TALK-GUN.
Want your next gun purchase to be fast and hassle-free? Well, at galleryofguns.com, you can search through thousands of models from our huge firearms inventory. Find a great offer from a local dealer that includes all fees and taxes. And there's no need to arrange a transfer. Gallery of Guns takes a small deposit on your credit card, and your gun will be at your chosen dealer in as little as 48 hours. Plus, your gun will be covered by our guaranteed lifetime replacement warranty. GalleryofGuns.com. Search, find, buy. It really is just that easy.
Looking for shooting instruction but don't know where to go? Well, we have it, and you can access hours of training and safety videos, which you can watch on your home computer. On GunTalkTV.com, we have top competitive shooters, the best in self-defense trainers, and folks who have hunted all over the world, helping you learn which gun to buy, how to use it, how to store it safely, and everything else you need to be a safe and competent shooter. We also have gun makers showing off their newest rifles, shotguns, and handguns. Doesn't matter if you're a veteran shooter or a complete beginner, you'll find what you need at GunTalkTV.com. You can check it out for free, and you can get full access for only $5.95 a month. That gives you unlimited access to hundreds of videos, and we're adding more all the time. Run the videos over and over to make sure you understand what's being said. Skip around. You're in control. Get smarter. Shoot better. Visit GunTalkTV.com.
In the field or on the range, you need a trigger you can trust. For over 60 years, Timney triggers have been trusted by hunters and shooters everywhere. A Timney trigger could mean the difference between a great shot and a miss. Timney triggers are proudly made in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. To order, go to TimneyTriggers.com. That's TIMNEY Triggers.com.
Brownells proudly celebrates 75 years of history and heritage as the world's first choice for firearms, accessories, ammunition, and gunsmithing tools. So whether you're a gunsmith in need of parts and supplies, a new shooter looking for the perfect holster, or a skilled competitor seeking the latest gear, Brownells has what you need. And best of all, every purchase comes with the industry's only forever satisfaction guarantee. Visit us at Brownells.com.
The Ruger American Rimfire Rifle combines features of the Ruger American Rifle and innovations of the 1022 Rimfire Rifle to appeal to all bolt-action enthusiasts. It features a modular stock system that provides comb height options for scope or iron sight use, a power bedding integral bedding block system for outstanding accuracy, a Ruger Marksman adjustable trigger, and a 1022 style rotary magazine for reliable feeding. The Ruger American Rimfire Rifle, another rugged, reliable firearm from Ruger.
All right, back with you, Tom Gresham, 866 Talk Gun. Get you in here. Mike's with us out of Salina, Kansas on line 4. Hey, Mike, thank you. How you doing, man?
Pretty good. I've been a shooter all my life, kept my guns in my house in room temperature. 3 years ago, I bought a safe, put a dehumidifier in it, and I check it weekly. Mm-hmm. And it gets real dry in there, down a lot of times below 20, probably an average of 30. Okay. Last year, I got my bolt action out, and I worked the bolt. When I shut it, it went off. No cartridges in it, of course, but if I would have had a cartridge in it, it would have went off. Okay. Well, I oiled it up, pulled the bolt out, oiled the bolt up, trigger mechanism. Well, this year, the same thing. I took 7 mag and my 243. When I lifted the bolt on the cock, it didn't cock. Something didn't catch. So I pulled them apart, oiled them up, and they're working just fine now. And the triggers are not touchy or nothing like that, but I just wanted to let people know if you stored a gun for a whole year, it could have dried out and could be dangerous.
So now explain to me, I'm kind of missing something. How would it dry out, and how would that cause the bolt to go forward, or the firing pin to go forward on a bolt action?
Well, that's what I couldn't figure out, but once I oiled them up, they worked just fine.
Have you adjusted the triggers on these guns? Are they adjusted pretty lightly?
No, sir. Matter of fact, I'm wanting to, because they're both set around 7 to 8 pounds.
Oh, wow. That's a little heavy.
Yeah, it is.
Huh. I don't know what's going on there. The only thing I can think of, let me ask you, now I'm going to get personal here. Have you cleaned the trigger mechanism on these guns with a solvent? Because I've got an idea here. Try this one out.
I'll admit, no, I haven't. I usually just spray some rim oil in them.
Right. I think here's what's going on. I think they're sitting for a while. It's dry in there, in the oil. So you're never supposed to oil trigger mechanisms. I don't know if you know that. But the oil in the trigger mechanism is setting up and getting goopy or solid or, something like that. And it is preventing the trigger, the sear, from working the way it's supposed to. So the first time out, you get what you just described, and then after you work it a couple of times and fire it, it kind of loosens everything up. My suggestion for you is this. Take the rifle out of the stock and use a spray brake cleaner. If you do that, wear shooting glasses or goggles or something, or lighter fluid or some kind of solvent, and clean the entire trigger mechanism really well. And then maybe put a very, very light touch of oil in there, but almost none. But continuing to put oil on a trigger mechanism is looking for trouble.
Okay.
So that's what I would do. I think, and I'm just, of course, I'm not there. I can't see the gun. I can't handle it. But I'm just guessing if you have put oil on these triggers over the course of a number of years, there's a buildup there, and that may be the problem. So I appreciate the call, Mike. It gives me a chance to put that word out. Do not oil your triggers. Do not spray your trigger. First of all, don't spray anything on your gun. Never spray gun cleaner, oil on your gun. If you want to oil your gun, you put something on a rag and you wipe it down. When you spray, it goes all over the place. It gets gummed up. Stuff happens. It's just, they're not made to work that way. Don't spray stuff on your gun, okay? Wipe your gun down. All right, Ray is with us on line 3. He's calling out of the Bronx, New York. Hey, Ray.
Hey, Tom. Listen, you've done it again, the great enabler. I was listening to one of your old podcasts, and you were really extolling the low-power variables, and I've kind of been a convert now. Now, the one I'm looking at, I'm not familiar with the company. It's called Vortec. Now, they have one that seems to fill the bill. It's ready for this, a 1 to 6 variable with a 24-millimeter objective, which means I can mount that sucker really low.
I like it.
And I'm thinking that, and it's got a lighted reticle. So far, everything looks good on paper. Now, I'm not familiar with the company. I also, they have these reticles. I hate busy-looking reticles. You mean by busy? Too many bars and dots and everything. My perfect reticle for general use is either a duplex that's lighted or my old tried-and-true German number 4. And I don't know if anybody else makes any 1 to 6s or such with that kind of a reticle. But what do you think of the Vortec company?
They make good scopes. They have a good following in the long-range shooting world. So I don't think you could go wrong there. Now, let me throw this thought out. You ask about there are other companies that have the kind of scopes you're describing. Trijicon has a 1 to 4 with a lighted reticle. It's really very nice. Loophole has been kicking butt and taking names with their advancements they've been doing. They've got 1 to 4s, 2 to 7s, 2 to 8s. If I remember right, 1.5 to 5. And then I think, if I remember right, they have a 1 to 6 with lots of different reticles. I mean, just unbelievable number of reticles available from Loophole. So I would look at all of those, but I think you're in the right place. Let me ask you this. What rifle is this going on? What caliber?
Oh, this is going on my 67 vintage 243 Sacco that I got from Kenny Jarrett. And just the only thing I can do to make this thing shoot any better is to put a better scope on it than that Korean job I've got.
It's funny you say that. For many years, I just assumed that scopes were scopes. And if I had a rifle that didn't shoot well, it was the rifle. And then kind of through experience, I figured out, no, sometimes you get just crummy scopes that don't hold a zero. Now, the other thing I found recently is that I actually went out and sighted in a rifle, and everything wasn't tightened down as much as it should be. Clearly that's going to be a mess. But I love the low-powered variables. However, I take it now. Are you using this as a like for deer hunting?
Yeah, and maybe for intermediate chucks.
Yeah, your 6 is going to be okay there. For chucks, you're probably going to be shooting anywhere from 200 to 300 yards, would be my guess, in the Northeast. And a 6 power is fine. 4 power would be okay. If you're going to do a lot of hunting varmints, chucks, groundhogs out there, I would stretch it out to maybe the 6 power, a 1 to 6 or 1.5 to 6. I just put a 1 to 6 on my 7mm 08 I just got. So I think probably you're in the right place. And if you like the looks of the Vortex, I would go for that. But I would look hard at the Trijicon and the Loophole also. We are blessed right now. We have so many good scope makers. Well, the competition is great because while they beat themselves up, we get good prices and a lot of great products. But I like where you're going with that. And I like you're talking when Ray says he likes the 24mm objective because it allows him to mount the scope low. That's when you know you're talking to somebody who understands rifles. The lower you can mount the scope, the quicker the scope or the rifle is to shoot, because when you put it up to your shoulder and cheek that stock, you don't have to lift your head up to line it up with the scope. You can put the scope or put the rifle to your shoulder, cheek it hard, open your eye, and your eye is looking right through the scope. The lower you can mount the scope and still operate the bolt, that's what you want. You want the lowest rings, the lowest sighting system you can get. And that's one of the reasons I'm really not a fan of 50mm objectives on scopes. You just can't get the thing mounted low enough. I like them low. I like low-powered variables. They work for almost everything I do.
Tom Gresham's Gun Talk is broadcast nationwide every Sunday. If you can't hear Gun Talk where you live, call your local talk format station and clue them in on Gun Talk. Stay tuned. We're coming right back. Now broadcasting nationwide on radio, via satellite, and through downloads, iTunes, the Gun Talk app, and other podcast clients. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
I held off on this. Did not want to talk about the Ferguson situation until after the grand jury came in, and they did exactly what I expected them to do. So let me just touch on this for a moment or two, okay? Michael Brown, 6'5", 290, 300 pounds. Cut to the chase. What happened here? According to the grand jury, the testimony, the evidence, we now know pretty much what I thought happened. He reaches into the police car, hits the police officer, punches him. Well, there's a problem. Attempts to take the firearm away from the police officer. There's a problem. In every police academy in the country, possibly in every police academy in the world, cadets are taught if an attacker takes your gun from you, he will kill you with it. Simple. They're not taking it away from you to take it to a pawn shop. They're trying to take it away from you so they can kill you with it. Every police officer is taught this. When somebody tries to take a gun away from a police officer, that by itself is legal justification to shoot this person. And then as we come to find out, Michael Brown then goes away from the car, stops, turns around, says something really stupid that I cannot repeat on the radio, and evidently charges the police officer. Here we got a guy that looks like a linebacker coming at you. The bullet wounds are in the top of his head. How do you think that would have happened? Gee, maybe he was leaning over charging? So there you go. It really, it was fairly self-evident from the beginning how this all developed. The grand jury confirmed that. The evidence bore that out. So if you're trying to, and here's the thing, people have their own political agenda to bring to this. Those who don't want to hear this won't hear this. But should it come up and should you have the ability to talk to somebody, you could explain these points. When somebody punches a police officer, that's bad. When somebody tries to take the police officer's gun, that's bad. And then when somebody turns around and tries to charge and take out the police officer, that's bad. All of those are assaults. All of those are felonies. Protecting yourself in those situations is common sense and, legal. Okay? Fair enough? Good deal. We got it? Enough. Line 1, Mike's with us. Hello, Mike. Thanks for your patience. How are you?
I'm fine, Tom. It's a pleasure to be on your show again. Listen, I'm contemplating purchasing a new rifle in a cartridge that I'm not familiar with. Mm-hmm. And I've heard two different names for it when I look at my reloading manuals. Mm-hmm. So I want to make dead certain I'm not dealing with two different chamberings. I don't think that's the case, but I want to be real sure.
Sure.
The 6.5 by 284, I've heard it called the Winchester, which was the original parent case, and then I've heard it called the Norma.
Well, you just described what happened. Originally, it was the 284 Winchester cartridge, a very cool and innovative cartridge at the time, by the way. And then the Wildcatters necked it down to 6.5 because a 284 Winchester is a 7mm. They necked it down to 6.5, so now they have the 6.5 by 284 Winchester. Basically, they took the 284 Winchester and necked it down. And it was a Wildcat. Well, Norma came along and said, hey, we're going to make this a legitimate factory cartridge. And so they go to SAAMI, S-A-A-M-I, Sporting Arms and Ammunition Manufacturing Institute. That is the body that certifies cartridges as being factory cartridges. And they get it certified with their name on it. So now it's the 6.5 by 284 Norma. Same cartridge as the Wildcats. Now, it's entirely possible if you're dealing with an older rifle, somebody could have chambered it using a different chamber reamer and such, but they're pretty standard. So if you buy one now that's a factory cartridge, it will be the 6.5 by 284 Norma. So that's what you're looking at. What rifle are you looking at? Thought.
The 111 Savage long-range hunter.
Oh, yeah, buddy. That is a nice long-range cartridge. I mean, now, understanding that from what I hear, you'll be able to get, who knows, a couple of thousand rounds out of it. It tends to burn barrels just a little bit because it's kind of a hot little son of a gun, but that's what makes it so good. Are you doing long-range competition?
No, but I am shooting long range. I'm up here in Alaska. There's different areas we can get out and reach out quite a ways. Mm-hmm. So I've got a 300 Winchester, a 338 Rum, and a 50. I decided to get away from the big bores and get something a little milder.
Right. Well, what this one will do is this one will shoot as well as the others in long range. And with the 6.5, you have the ability to use these really great long-range bullets with high BCs, and it's the high ballistic coefficient that makes it so good, that makes it hang in the wind, because it's the wind that's the issue, not the drop, as you well know.
Yes. Yep.
So I would applaud you. I think it's a great choice. 6.5 by 284 is a great choice. Savage is making some real value rifles that shoot like crazy. They're so good. Do me a favor, after you get it and after you've had a chance to shoot it a little bit, give us a call back and give us a range report. I would love to hear how it's working for you.
Sure. Now, I want to clarify.
Sounds good. Listen, I've got to run. I am hard against a break. It's got to happen here or I get in bad trouble. Look, I appreciate it. We'll get back to that. But give me a holler when you get a chance to shoot that. 866-TALK-GUN. We got Scott, we got Justin, we got George all lined up, and we have room for you. 866-TALK-GUN.
Accurate, powerful, consistent. At Double Tap Ammunition, we offer 364 loads in 83 calibers that give you exactly what you've been looking for. Try us out at www.doubletapammo.com and use the promo code GUNTALK for 10% off your order.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and they've been endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights to live, be free, and pursue happiness. You know what makes me happy, ladies and gentlemen? To blow a mallard drake's head smooth off. Mossberg, built rugged, proudly American, just like us.
The new Walther PPX offers a smooth trigger, ambidextrous magazine release, 3 integral safeties, rugged construction, and the famous Walther ergonomic grip. All this at a great price. Right now, get a free magazine, holster, and dual mag pouch when you purchase a PPX. Feel the perfect fit of the Walther PPX at your local gun dealer or go to waltherarms.com for more information. That's waltherarms.com.
The .45 Auto, also known as the 1911, is the standard other defensive pistols are measured against. No matter what pistol you carry, techniques developed around the 1911 are vital. You know you need training, and you know your concealed carry class definitely was not training. Now Gun Talk presents an exciting DVD, Fighting with the 1911 with Tiger McKee. Tiger's unique training style will have you drawing, moving, shooting, and running your gun better, no matter what style pistol you prefer. At ShopGunTalk.com, you can order our DVDs of Tiger's instruction. ShopGunTalk.com also has a 2-DVD set, including Concealed Carry 1. Get both for the information you know you need. This really is life and death. ShopGunTalk.com has DVDs, books, and other essential gear. ShopGunTalk.com. That's ShopGunTalk.com.
At Double Tap Ammunition, we hand inspect every round that we make, and we use only the best components to give you the best ammunition on the market. Try us out at www.doubletapammo.com and use the promo code GUNTALK for 10% off your order.
People want to talk about guns today. Justin wants to do that. He's on line 3, calling out of Granite City, Illinois. Hello, Justin.
How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How can I help you?
Well, I am. I've called multiple times about concealed carry stuff and whatnot, and I've heard you speak about training multiple oodles of times, and I am interested in taking a course by Masad Ayub as a Mag 40 class. He comes to Northern Illinois, and he comes to Harrison, Arkansas every year. I believe Harrison. But I'm looking to save up money to take a class, and I don't know. I mean, are they really? I mean, if you had one class you were saving up for that would cover law, defense, all that stuff, would you go to Mass?
Probably so. If you put it that way, if it's got to cover self-defense and the law. And all of it, I would probably go to Masad Ayub's class. If you said, I just want to get the firearms training, I might go to another place. But I think, first of all, he's coming to you. So you're not going to have to go to Arizona or, Oregon or some other place. He's going to come to fairly close to you. And I will tell you this, once you take his class, you will, if people ask you about yourself, within 5 minutes, you will describe having gone to the class. It's that important to your life. So I would just say, don't even worry about it. Don't compare. Just do it. It's going to be there. And then, a couple of years down the road, you may say, well, I want to take another class. Good. Go somewhere else. But take Mass's class. It's going to be that good for you. And I appreciate the call. Thank you, sir. George's on line 2, OC Shooters. Hey, George, how you doing?
Pretty good. If I can throw in real quick, the thing you were just talking about where the police officer, the thing that I really noticed when he talked about it, he said, I pulled the trigger once, nothing happened. I pulled the trigger twice, nothing happened. I pulled the trigger 3 times, nothing happened. So obviously he didn't have a regular strike or fired gun. and it was the third time he tried where the gun actually went off. But anyway, I got good news, bad news, and a question. The good news is that I bought a raffle ticket and won a Weatherby Vanguard.
Okay.
The bad news is the ticket had my wife's name on it.
I love it. So, what are you going to do? You going to change your name? How are we going to reconcile this whole thing?
Well, no, I got it. I got it in 243.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've got a Remington 700 in 270, which I also happen to win, and I've got a Leopold 3-9 on that, and so now I'm trying to figure out what to put on this 243. And somebody suggested do a 4-12, something like that, and it's like, yeah, I've got.
All right, let me stop. Let me ask you a quick question because we're going to run short on time. We got to go fast. What are you going to do with the gun?
Well, she's going to be target shooting with it some, and then I'll be hunting with it out to like 250, 300 yards, either deer or smaller animals.
Okay, all right. Like 3-9, don't look back. 4-12, no. The problem is you will be tempted to use it at 12. It's more than you need, and you will have a restricted field of view. Go to the 3-9, keep it on 3 about 99.9% of the time, and then if you need to crank it up, do that. But when you're hunting, keep it on 3. But no, 3-9 is definitely the way to go. Look, George, I appreciate it. I got to keep running. We got them lined up today. Scott is in Lafayette, Louisiana on 4. Hey, Scott, interesting question. Go for it.
All right, this kind of ties into the previous caller about Masad Ayoub. I listened a couple of weeks ago when you had him on with his new book, and one of the comments he made was recommending not to modify your gun as far as a lighter trigger pull. Mm-hmm. And I will concede that he is the authority and knows what he's talking about. But it just brought to mind a question. On my most commonly used gun, I have grip tape. I have aftermarket sights. I have a lighter connector. And on top of those things, since you were talking about training, I went to my first training course a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. To me, all of those make my gun a better tool and me better able to use it, but I can see that I could see how a attorney, somebody could try to turn that around and say that those things are making me more dangerous, if you will, or more liable to do something. Mm-hmm. So I guess my question is, where do you draw the line between trying to do things that you think are making you better versus the appearance of just trying to look innocent? Because conversely, it seems the way to look innocent would be to buy a gun and one box of ammunition, take it home, never use it, say I didn't really ever want to have to use this, but I was forced into it. So
yeah, and look, you're out there doing training and you're going to classes, and they're going to say, yeah, you were trained to be a killer. Okay, yeah, we got that. I mean, there are some things we're just going to have to deal with. The light trigger, I think, is the one that gets trips up a lot of people. There's a difference between light and good. And you can have a good, crisp trigger that is 4.5 or 5 pounds. And for self-defense use, that's probably where I would want to be. Now, I love a nice 3-pound trigger for competition, for target shooting and all. I don't need that, I guess is the question. I don't need that on my self-defense gun. The difference between 1 inch and 2 inches is not going to be a big deal. You're not going to be off that much at 7 yards. I guess you say, where do I draw the line? Probably I would put good sights on it. Grip tape, I don't know. I'm not a fan, but I just think if you like it, fine, go with it. It's the trigger. Trigger and ammo. I would not carry hand-loaded ammo in my defensive gun because I just don't want to have that conversation, frankly. And I probably would not have a light trigger. So, and I would not have super duper rip 'em up ammo that has ads that have these things blowing up and exploding and shredding and all that. No, if you want them to show that when you're on the stand, I know I sure don't.
Join the NRA via Tom Gresham's Gun Talk website and receive $10 off the regular membership price. Log on to guntalk.com for details. You're listening to Tom Gresham's Gun Talk. Just because we're wrapping up on the air doesn't mean we're done talking about guns. Stick around for the after show. It's our podcast-only version designed to include all the stuff we simply couldn't fit into a regular show. Call in now at 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Now, back to Tom.
Interesting to see that Kroger, the Kroger, the grocery store chain that the Moms Demand Action have been threatening a boycott because they want Kroger to ban guns. Their profits are up 21%, despite telling the gun banners to beat feet, get out of here. We were talking about crazy ammo. I just see you're right, Jim. Recall alert, GR2 RIP 45 ACP ammo recalled. If you bought some of that crazy looking RIP ammo, which I would not want to be using for self-defense. I just got to tell you, I would not want to have that conversation with the district attorney or a prosecuting attorney or somebody. I'm going to use real, simple, good, expanding ammo. Done. Nothing esoteric, nothing fancy, nothing gee whiz, nothing 21st century. Good ammo. Okay, there you go. Let's see. Let's go to line 1. Jim is in Nebraska. Hey, Jim.
Yes, hello.
Hi.
I have a scope question. I have purchased a Bushnell scope. It is a 4.5 to 30, 50 millimeter objective, 34 millimeter tube, first focal plane objective, and it has a mill dot reticle with milling elevation and windage. Now, Bushnell has always been kind of an inexpensive scope. This scope costs 3 to 3.5 times what a normal Bushnell does. Is somebody other than Bushnell making this scope for them?
First of all, let me back up. Why did you buy that scope? What for?
They have a target shooting competition out here called Precision Rifle.
Okay. To your question, Bushnell, now this is a moving picture, and things change as far as who their suppliers are. I don't know that Bushnell's making any of these products themselves, any of their products. They're probably all made in, some in Japan, maybe some in Korea, certainly a lot of them in China. And interestingly enough, the Philippines has become a place where a lot of optics are being made these days. And there are plants there that crank out scopes and binoculars for a lot of different companies. They just put somebody else's name on them. So probably a lot of these come from there. The specific scope you're asking about, I don't know who's making that for them. Fairly interesting, though. 4.5 to 30. 34 millimeter objective. One of the problems you run into, this is just an optics thing, is if you go with too much power and not enough objective lens on the end, you get a big picture, but you don't get a clear picture. That's why if you're going to have a 60 power spotting scope, you need a 70 or 80 millimeter objective lens on your spotting scope. A 60 power scope with a 40 millimeter objective lens, it's a big image, but it's not going to be a sharp image. All right, if you'd like to join us, let's talk about all kind of cool stuff. Call me right now, 866-TALK-GUN. We can get you into the after show where if you have not been there, you're in for a treat. You'll get to talk to all of us, all the folks here in studio. 866-TALK-GUN. Tell me about your gun. Ask your question. Tell me that I'm crazy. They'll all agree with you. It's all good. We'll have some fun. In the meantime, go out and do some shooting. Take somebody with you. Be safe. Have fun. And we'll see you next time.